A hiring manager recently described interviewing a Gen Z candidate who brought their mother into the actual room. The mother asked the salary questions, the candidate scrolled their phone, and somehow neither person got the job. That story sounds fabricated for internet engagement, and yet several hiring managers independently confirmed nearly identical experiences. Why Gen Z has become unemployable sounds like an insult, except it is currently a documented, measurable survey result. This is the fiscal historian, breaking down the numbers behind the headlines, one uncomfortable workplace story at a time. Stick around, because this topic splits into two very different stories, and only one of them is actually Gen Z's fault. Somewhere between a global pandemic and a robot writing emails, an entire generation quietly became a punchline. That punchline has actual survey data attached to it now, which somehow makes the whole thing funnier and sadder simultaneously. Let's open with the employer complaints, since these surveys read less like data and more like collective group therapy. A recent Intelligent.com survey found 75% of employers rated their Gen Z hires as unsatisfactory overall. 75% is not a bad batch of apples. That is closer to describing the entire orchard as fundamentally cursed. 6 in 10 companies admitted firing a recent college graduate within months. A fairly brutal retention statistic, honestly. 1 in 3 hiring managers now say avoiding Gen Z candidates entirely benefits their company's overall daily operations. A separate criteria. Survey found only 8% of recruiters believe Gen Z is prepared for actual workplace demands. 8% is not a passing grade anywhere. That is closer to a rounding error than a genuine vote of confidence. Most students fail an exam scored that low, and yet this particular exam covers an entire generation's actual future. Common complaints include poor communication skills, weak time management, and a tendency to treat deadlines as suggestions. 43% of managers specifically cited a lack of professionalism as their primary frustration with new hires. Half of surveyed managers reported their Gen Z employees causing noticeable tension with older, more experienced colleagues. Picture an office where the 30-year veteran and the 22-year-old intern communicate through entirely different languages. One side speaks in formal emails, the other side speaks in voice memos, and both sides leave every meeting confused. Someone eventually needs to invent a real-time translator, specifically for the phrase, "let's circle back on this later." Job hopping ranks high, too, with 63% of managers citing frequent job changes as a legitimate concern. Average tenure in a first career role now sits around 1 year, considerably shorter than previous generations managed. Millennials averaged nearly 2 years per role, Gen X averaged nearly 3, and Gen Z apparently treats jobs like rentals. Nobody signs a long lease on an apartment they suspect might get automated by next spring either, to be entirely fair. Dress code complaints appeared repeatedly too, with pajama pants and crop tops reportedly making unexpected office appearances. 9 in 10 hiring managers now believe recent graduates should undergo formal etiquette training before starting actual work. Etiquette training used to mean which fork to use. Now it apparently means, please stop texting during client calls. The fork situation was apparently easier to solve than the phone situation, which nobody saw coming a decade ago. So the employer complaints are real, documented, repeated across multiple independent surveys, and hard to dismiss. But here comes the considerably more complicated half of the story, since Gen Z is also entering the harshest job market in decades. Youth unemployment for ages 16 to 24 sat at 10.8% in mid-2025 specifically. That figure runs nearly 3 times higher than the overall adult unemployment rate measured during that exact same period. Entry-level job postings collapsed too, falling 29 percentage points globally within about a year and a half. Openings technically rose 18% recently, yet actual hires increased only 3% across that identical stretch. Companies are posting jobs enthusiastically while hiring considerably more cautiously, which is a strange, frustrating combination. That is roughly like a restaurant printing an enormous menu, while quietly refusing to actually cook any of the dishes. By July 2025, new workforce entrants represented over 13% of all unemployed Americans nationally. That share had not been recorded since the late 1980s, an entire generation apparently missing that memo completely. The 1980s, notably, did not have artificial intelligence quietly absorbing every single available entry-level task. 1 in 3 employers already replaced entry-level tasks specifically with artificial intelligence tools, according to recent research. The exact repetitive tasks that once trained new graduates are now handled instantly by software requiring 0 training whatsoever. Imagine learning to swim except the pool quietly drained itself the same week you finally showed up wearing goggles. That is an oddly specific metaphor. But honestly, it captures the timing problem more precisely than most economic charts manage. Junior software roles specifically dropped to their lowest employment level since 1980, an almost impossibly bleak comparison. Programming, once considered a bulletproof career path, now competes directly against code-generating tools working entirely for free. Bulletproof careers apparently still exist. They simply belong to whoever maintains the artificial intelligence writing the code instead. Nearly 60% of recent graduates report still searching for full-time work, compared to roughly a quarter of earlier generations. That gap alone suggests something considerably bigger than individual attitude problems is actually reshaping this job market. So which explanation is actually correct? The lazy, unprofessional narrative or the brutal structural market collapse narrative instead? Both explanations contain real, measurable truth, and pretending otherwise makes for better outrage but considerably worse understanding. Outrage travels faster online than nuance ever manages to, which is precisely why nuance rarely trends anywhere meaningfully. Consider how these two forces actually interact, since neither story fully explains the situation sitting entirely by itself. Fewer entry-level positions mean fewer opportunities to practice basic professional skills before facing an actual formal interview. Previous generations learned workplace norms gradually through part-time jobs, internships, and countless awkward learning moments. Every generation had that one embarrassing first job story. The difference is Gen Z barely got offered the actual job. Remove those entry points, and an entire generation skips the exact training ground where professionalism traditionally gets built. Add heavy remote schooling during critical developmental years, and in person, social calibration took a real hit too. Students who spent formative years staring at screens during lockdowns missed considerable practice reading rooms and reading people. Reading a room over video chat is legitimately difficult, mostly because half the room is muted and the other half froze mid-sentence. That is not laziness, that is a fairly unusual developmental gap created by circumstances nobody in that age group actually chose. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence keeps eliminating precisely the low-stakes tasks that once quietly built professional skill. Companies want experienced workers immediately, yet keep removing the exact junior roles that once created experienced workers. That is functionally a hiring paradox, demanding proven experience, while simultaneously dismantling every path toward gaining it. It is roughly like insisting on hiring only experienced lifeguards while quietly draining every single pool in town. Try explaining that contradiction to a 22-year-old currently applying to their 400th unanswered job listing. 400 applications used to sound like exaggeration. Now it barely qualifies as a slow, unremarkable Tuesday afternoon. Now, does this mean employer complaints about professionalism are simply fabricated nonsense with zero legitimate basis whatsoever? Not exactly, and that conclusion would honestly be a fairly lazy way to end an otherwise carefully researched workplace investigation. Some behaviors really do need addressing. Showing up late repeatedly or texting through meetings rarely helps anyone's career. But blaming an entire generation's character ignores structural forces actively working against their basic professional development. Character flaws rarely appear identically across an entire 20 million person age group all at once, statistically speaking. Is there some coordinated conspiracy specifically designed to make an entire generation appear unemployable on purpose intentionally? Not exactly. And honestly, no secret meeting explicitly decided to simultaneously automate entry jobs and criticize young workers. Nobody needed coordination. They simply needed AI adoption, remote schooling, and hiring caution compounding gradually at once. Once these separate pressures collided, an unemployable reputation became a statistically predictable outcome rather than a mystery. Predictable outcomes rarely make satisfying villain stories, which is precisely why the villain story keeps winning online anyway. Let's examine the blue-collar pivot briefly, since Gen Z's response to this mess deserves real credit and attention here. Roughly 3 in 5 Gen Z workers now say they are open to pursuing blue-collar careers instead of traditional office paths. An electrician apparently cannot be automated nearly as easily as an entry-level spreadsheet analyst, and Gen Z clearly noticed. Nearly half of those considering trades already hold a college degree, a fairly striking reversal of decades-old career advice. Parents spent decades insisting on college, and an entire generation is now quietly, politely trading that advice for a toolbox. That shift suggests real adaptability, not laziness, since choosing plumbing over unpaid rejection requires self-awareness. Self-awareness, notably, rarely appears on any employer's official complaint list about this specific generation whatsoever. So what actually helps here, since ending purely on generational blame, accomplishes absolutely nothing for anyone currently job hunting. Employers could actually invest in structured onboarding and mentorship instead of expecting instant polish from day one. A single week of real training could realistically save companies the entire cost of firing and replacing someone later. Educational institutions could integrate more practical workplace training alongside purely theoretical coursework currently offered. A single mandatory internship taught considerably more office etiquette than any lecture hall managed across 4 entire years. Young workers, meanwhile, could treat timeliness and clear communication as learnable skills worth practicing deliberately. Nobody was born knowing proper meeting etiquette. Everyone learned it somewhere, usually through one deeply cringeworthy mistake. None of these fixes arrive overnight, and none fit neatly into one satisfying viral post blaming a single convenient villain. Why Gen Z has become unemployable, ultimately, traces back to timing considerably more than character, however unsatisfying that answer feels. They graduated into pandemic disruption, automated entry roles, and employer patience running thinner than previous cycles. Timing, unlike character, does not photograph well for a viral clip, which is exactly why it rarely gets any blame instead. That timing is not an excuse erasing individual responsibility. It is essential context missing from most viral hiring horror stories. Blaming one generation ignores decades of hiring practices, automation trends, and shifts that predate any single class. Understanding both halves of this story, market collapse and skill gaps, actually represents progress worth taking seriously here. It also happens to be considerably less satisfying than simply picking a side and yelling about it online repeatedly. Do you think Gen Z's reputation is fair, or does the actual data point toward a considerably more complicated situation entirely? Type your honest take below, since we read every comment and this particular debate tends to get spirited rather quickly. Bonus points. If you have personally witnessed someone bring a parent to an actual job interview in person, tell us whether you personally believe Gen Z workers or the broader hiring market deserves more blame for this mess. If this breakdown changed how you see entry-level hiring, subscribe, because we dissect confusing workforce trends like this weekly. Next week's topic will probably involve another chart that makes you want to close your laptop and reconsider several life choices. We turn messy workplace headlines into plain explanations, because understanding beats another angry comment war entirely. The Fiscal Historian, where the numbers behind the headlines finally get explained clearly, fairly, and considerably more entertainingly. Receipts included every single time, because confident hot takes without actual data are simply guesses wearing a nice blazer. Even that blazer, statistically, was probably purchased using a buy now, pay later plan spread across 4 separate installments.